Between 1938 and 1939, over 10,000 children were rescued by the Kindertransport to Britain. But how did the parents get their children on the Kindertransport? Who is Karl Hirschland, and what happened after the arrival in Britain? How did they organize the Kindertransport?
This is Karl Hirschland with his mother and grandfather. Karl Hirschland was one of many Jewish children who had to flee to Britain. His mother died in 1939 when he was 13. Since then, he lived together with his father, Max Hirschland, and his grandfather. His father had to bank, so they didn't have to care about money. Hallo, ich bin Karl Hirschland. Ich bin 14 Jahre alt und Jude. Das war auch nie ein Problem für mich, bis die Nationalsozialisten mehr und mehr Macht bekamen. Von da an wurde mein Leben immer schwieriger.
Why had Jewish children to flee? When Hitler got more and more power over the years, he finally had enough power to start discriminating all Jews in Germany in 1933. Jews were discriminated and excluded. They were stigmatized so everybody could as fast as possible see that they were Jewish. Their belongings and culture were destroyed and most of their businesses were closed. Finally, they were deported and killed in concentration camps.
The Organizing before departure. On 6 July 1938, representatives from 32 countries met in Erklärvideo to discuss about potential settlement locations for Jewish refugees. But most countries didn't want to admit new immigrants. Only after the Crystal Night, very few countries opened their door to Jewish refugees. On the 1st December 1938, the first transport left Germany. There were only 2 weeks between the decision to let Jewish children to Britain and the arrival of the first ferry on the 2nd December 1938 in Britain. For that, all children needed an exit permission from the German government so that they were allowed to leave the country and a visa from the country they wanted to enter.
Financial support. All children had to be guaranteed. That means that somebody pays for them. Only if a child was not in need of a guarantee anymore, another child could enter Britain. Some British families paid for their journey, but they didn't know for who they would take financial support, so that was not often. Since March 1939, only children who had an individual guarantor could enter Britain. Zurück zu Karl.
Da es für mich immer gefährlicher wurde, entschied mein Vater, mich wegzuschicken. Am 9. erfuhr ich dann von meinem Vater, dass ich zugeteilt wurde. Zusammen fuhren wir dann nach Köln und ich musste mich verabschieden.
In Köln.
Ich darf keine Emotionen zeigen.
Papa?
Ja, mein Sohn?
Ich hab Angst.
Reiß dich zusammen.
Aber Papa?
Sei still und jetzt geh.
Liebt er mich denn nicht mehr?
Karl Hirschland was on one of the last transports to Britain. His father had contact to Dr. Erich. He wanted to open a Jewish school in Britain. This was the reason why Karl could enter the transport. All children who went on the Kindertransport needed a child pass and a sign with a number and its destination on it. It was only a small amount of money and a small amount of luggage allowed. The luggage had to be checked 2 days before the transport.
The arrival in England. When they arrived in Britain, they were told to wait at the station until being picked up. After that, most of them were put in holiday camps or hostels. Only a small number went directly to foster families. The first call for foster families was put out by a public appeal. Children called the holiday camps cattle markets because every weekend parents came to choose a child to live with them.